On April 17th, 1986, at a little after midnight, during home box office's showing of The Falcon and the Snowman, right after the opening credits, this message appeared on the screen. Who was Captain Midnight, and why did he illegally jam HBO's signal? And was he justified in doing so? Let's find out. Well, hello there, Old Man Kelly here, Jeff to my friends, and you can call me Jeff. So to understand the story of Captain Midnight, we have to go back to the early 1970s. You see, before 1972, television was completely free in the United States. All one had to do was put up with commercials, strange editing, and the censorship that was required by the Federal Communications Commission. You see, the FCC determined that the airwaves were owned by the public, and therefore they had to make sure those airwaves stayed within the standards that were deemed decent, in their opinion, for family viewing. I think basically the theory was those signals were in the air, flowing into people's homes whether they wanted it to or not. So if you had a TV, you had no control over what signals it received. So in an act of parental guidance, the government decided they had to make sure those signals were safe for family viewing. Whether that was right or wrong is a question for another video at another time. Anyway, for those who didn't want their movies interrupted with commercials or didn't want them to be edited for time or the censorship involved, a solution appeared in 1972. It was called cable television. Called so because to get the signal, one had to have a cable hooked up to the home. And since it didn't use the public airwaves, it was at the homeowner's discretion of whether they wanted to receive the signal or not. Therefore, it didn't have to follow the same standards as broadcast TV. Cable stations could have swearing in their programming or even show naked boobs. One of these first cable stations was a network called Home Box Office, or HBO. Now, while HBO and other cable stations like Showtime used wires to get the signal into the home, they used satellites to get their information to where they had to be, from the main office to the cable companies around the world. So those with satellite dishes began to share the secret of how to tap into those satellite transmissions to get free cable TV. Even restaurants and hotel chains use this technology to distribute the programming to their guests without charge, and this wasn't illegal. Now, as we know, corporate America doesn't like giving anything away for free, so HBO came up with a plan. They would scramble their signal at the transmission end and unscramble it at the receiving end. This began on January 15th, 1986, and what it meant for satellite dish owners was they no longer got HBO for free. Oh, they could still watch, but at a cost. HBO offered a package. For the low price of $395, one could get a descrambler. But that wasn't all. You also had to pay a subscription fee of $12.95 per month. Many dish owners were not happy. Folks like the Satellite Television Industry Association began to protest. They urged the United States Congress to protect their access to satellite transmissions. Personally, I don't know how you justify getting free cable, but they did just the same. One man who wasn't happy was 25-year-old John A. McDougal from Ocala, Florida. Now, if I understand it right, John wasn't upset with having to pay. He was upset at the amount they were asking. See, regular home subscribers were paying a bit less, and, well, he thought that was unfair. Now, for about 2 years, McDougal owned a company called McDougal Electronics and was doing pretty well. Suddenly, satellite dish sales plummeted, and his business really suffered. I mean, one of the benefits of having one of those huge satellite dishes in your backyard was free cable, but that was no more. McDougal no longer had the money to advertise or even run his air conditioner. He said later, "I was watching the great American dream slip away from my grasp." Now, like many people who would say, well, life's not fair, and then decide whether to pay or not to pay, John decided to be a modern-day Robin Hood and do something about it, and we'll have that story in part 2 next time. Well, thanks for watching. Like I said, part 2 will be next week. I want to apologize to everyone for being gone for like 3 weeks. I usually try to post 1 or 2 videos every week, and that wasn't my doing. I had a major computer malfunction. My old Mac that I've had for over 10 years finally, well, died. It was one that I used to use at work that was given to me from work when we got new computers. Luckily, I was able to get a replacement at home, and so I'm back, and so we'll have part 2 tomorrow. Hey, thanks for watching. Bye.